So I'm looking at this a little more. This would be a little bit better if it breaks through and then retests here versus this breaking through here and then retesting this. Not much of a difference, but enough of a difference where this chart looks a little bit more higher probability if it was to break through and retest that than this. Sticking to the trading strategy. It needs to bounce specifically on this, on the pre-market high or previous day high. Can't bounce off of this support resistance level. That's not going to count as a potential entry for me. Only the pre-market high or the previous day high. Same goes for the low. Really, this is the pre-market high, but I'm bundling it with this this other swing right here. Since they're so close together, I'm making it kind of like a zone, small zone. You dig? Sorry, y'all. It's early morning. I try to tone down for y'all in the morning and not be so random and energetic and get straight to the point with y'all. But let's be real. I do these videos more for me than anything. It's my own trade journals, and I use YouTube servers to have free storage space, even though I use, like, you know, the cloud and stuff. It's nice to have it in two places. We're looking. We're looking. I want to see if break and failed retest on one of these, preferably this, once this is higher. And for this one, I'd want to see it do this. Not on this support resistance level that is a one-time bounce. Resistance. We don't make entries on those pre-market highs, previous day highs only. If we could get an entry on the failed retest here, it'll be pretty much some weak resistance right here. It only bounced off this resistance once in the past. We have a straight, pretty much a straight shot to some real actual resistance level. So this would be a pretty nice looking trade if I'm able to get in. I would put my stop right here. Probably put my stop right there. It's a tad far depending on where I enter around here, but that's just in case it blows through this and then tries to retest this level. I'd have 3 levels for it to have to break through to hit my stop, without it being super duper far, but still kind of far. So maybe it bounces off this level and then comes back down. Maybe retest this is what I'm looking for. I enter on candle close. When I want to see it like failing. I want to see it like hit this and then shoot back up a little bit, hit this, shoot back up a little bit, a few times at least. Whether it's just this candle on a couple candles. And it has to be candle close. That's also another rule I have. Just to make it less ambiguity. You know what I mean? I just like it like candle close. Like I'm seeing it bounce off of this level somewhat. That looks pretty nice. That looks really nice. I'm in. So my real stop will be, that's just an emergency stop. The real stop, like I said, be about right there. And we're watching. I'll leave it right there. It'll have this pre-market, well, that and previous day high for it to need to blow through. Entered right there. Close on candle close past this, past the stop loss. If it's a wick over the stop loss, I don't really care. It needs to close over it. That's a pretty strong move down. That was a good entry as far as my strategy is concerned, though. Did nothing wrong on the entry. Very, yeah. We don't exit to the close. You know, whatever happens, happens. But we don't exit until this candle closes. If it goes back up past the stop loss and closes above the stop loss, we'll still be in the trade. It's all up to this candle. See, this held a lot better on the QQQ because I would have seen this, and then this is where I'd be looking at to get in right here. It doing this right there. On the SPY, it's not favorable to me. I've only got like 15 seconds until this candle closes. And once it closes below that SL, that's it. But look at that. That would have been beautiful. I would have got in on this candle if it kept looking like that for the next 10 seconds. But I got to get out of this. So, got out right there, unfortunately. I did nothing wrong getting into this trade. That was a well-executed trade. Nice bounce off of this previous day high. Nice stop loss placement. It just is what it is. Now, looking at the QQQ, this is a nice setup right here. It did this. I was watching this candle. It was rejecting off of this. Had a nice bounce, had a nice failed retest of that. I would have actually got in right here at the end, close of that candle. And I'd have my stop about right here, somewhere around here. So that would have been, this would have been a better opportunity for me. But I did nothing wrong with this trade right here. It just what came first, so I entered on this. But follow my strategy. This was just, you know, it was a loss, but it wasn't a loss. As long as I follow my strategy, it's all good. I don't trip off the losses when I follow my trading strategy. There's nothing I could have did better here. So good execution. Now, if I followed, for instance, my trading rules like I did today, the rest of this week, today's Friday, if I did that yesterday and the day before yesterday, I wouldn't have the 2 losses. I got 2 losses between yesterday and the day before because I did not follow my trading strategy. I actually wouldn't have entered the trade yesterday or the day before at all. And then this would have been, today's Friday, would have been my only loss for the whole week, versus having 3 losses, 2 due to me not following my strategy. So ending the week on following my strategy. So it's all good. Learn from it was that mistake, and the other mistake was not closing on a candle. Not entering on a candle close, and also not waiting for like me to actually like watch it. Like I only seen it wick up from the retest once, and then I entered, versus seeing it wick a few times up on the retest. You know what I mean? And then entered. Plus, like I said, not entering on a candle close. So those were the mistakes of the week that won't be repeated. And with that being said, since it's Friday, I might as well also speak on the market conditions of the week. So the market conditions of the week, you got some Iran stuff going on. It's been probably since last week, but I know I started really trading this strategy this week, and this whole week has been pretty crappy. Price action has been pretty crappy. It's been heavily news headline driven all week. So this week has just been like not the greatest time to like start trading. Like if you look through this week's recordings of mine, you'll see, or if you look on your charts, you'll see like the price action is terrible. At least for my strategy, it's been terrible. Like when I've back tested and all last week, it was not like this all last week. It was like, it'd be like this. Like you see this, it's like this, looking like it's gonna go one way, comes back, does a nice retest, pretty much of this level. If you look over here, pretty much retested this pre-market high, but then it has no juice. It has no motion, and then it starts consolidating, and then you never know where it's gonna go after that. It's been like this all week. Thursday, Wednesday, I feel like Tuesday and Monday is also was pretty much the same thing. So this week, not the best week to trade. Is there any takeaways from that? Not at this moment. I don't have anything on this moment. Like, as in, as soon as I seen, oh, this is a bad week to trade because this is very headline driven week. By the time I noticed that, would I have stopped trading until it wasn't that? That I don't know. I'm not sure, but that's something definitely to keep in mind. That's definitely something to keep in mind. But that's also why even after I take a trade, I'm still watching the charts for a little bit. That's why I make these recordings, so I can always go back and see, hey, all right, this is how the market was acting on Wednesday. Oh, okay, this is how the market was acting on Thursday. As soon as I record these, I have to edit them a little bit and then upload it on YouTube. And while I'm editing it, or later on that day, or on the weekend, I'm always going back to look at these videos of the past week to see, or previous days during that week to see, oh, this is how the market was this day. It's how the market was this day of that week. So, you know, on top of seeing what I did wrong, what I did right, I'm also able to get a nice visual of, instead of just static chart information, I'm able to see throughout each day how the market was acting, particularly at, you know, the first couple hours of opening, which is what really matters to me because that's my trade window. Like, look at this price action, man. This shit sucks. It's been doing this all week. It'll look like it's going in a direction. It'll have a nice pullback looking like, and then it'll be choppy like that. It's been choppy pretty much the whole week. It hasn't really done anything like that. Like, let's look at Thursday. This is let me hide this stuff. So this is Thursday. This was yesterday. Yesterday, it did this. Like, look at this. Look at that. Look at that. That's ugly. I believe it was like ugly on Wednesday too. Let's look at Wednesday. Yeah, ugly. It looks like it's gonna break out, and it does not. Nope. And then it just does this. Just ugly, ugly, ugly price action. Just look at this. Ugly. It had a nice, decisive move here. Actually, you know, it did this. Okay, didn't break, and it came back up. This is around the time where I would stop trading a little bit, but a few minutes after 11 is cool. But guess what? As far as my strategy goes, does not break this pre-market high. It just chills there. So there was nothing for me to do there. That was Tuesday. Let's look at Monday. Monday. Ugly. Nothing. It breaks past this. That's nice. But guess what? That's not part of my strategy. This is part of my strategy. This break. Because this is big gap here and the next high is up there. I'd be looking at this pre-market high too for an entry. That would have been all right. That would have been fine. A little bit past 11, whatever. That would have been nice. I don't think I traded on Monday. No, I did, but something happened. But really, Monday was the only day of this week that had like a really nice, concise for my strategy. It's been like this, filling this gap. Yeah, pretty much filling that gap. That's a nice move actually. I would have been on that, and I would have got out right here around 12. So that was nice. But yeah, pretty much all week, other than Monday, and if you want to say Tuesday, it's been crappy. But like I said, this my only real opportunity to trade at all this week would have been Monday. Tuesday, this wouldn't have been an opportunity. There was nothing here for me to do. Wednesday, nothing for me to do. Just didn't amount to anything. Thursday, nothing. Like, look at that. Just ugly. Ugly. Would have broke that. Came back. There would have been no entries for me here. Just ugly. Then I would have seen it do that. Then I would have seen it wick that. But at that point, after I seen it do all that, I'd have been like, yeah, nah, it doesn't seem like it's going in any good direction. Because why would I say that? Well, actually, when I seen it did that, I probably would have entered. And by the time it got to that point, I already moved my stop loss a little bit closer. Where's my okay, my EMA isn't showing here. Where is my freaking EMA? My EMA isn't showing, but basically I'd either switch to EMA stop loss or just move my stop loss up a little bit. So that would have been like break even if I had like made an entry right here. But that was a little above that, so there's a good chance I would have waited to see what happened in the next candle. And look what happens in the next candle, straight drop. I either would have missed that or I would have took it right there. But just look at this. There's no real decisiveness. It's like it went down, but like it had these moments where it would just shoot straight up, just crazy. You could tell this was a headline move right there on that candle. And then the day so far did this, came back, broke through that like it was Swiss cheese, or looking like it was gonna do that, and then bounced right back up a little bit, and now it's just doing this. It went from, it's just ugly price action. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the recording playing for maybe another hour or so, but my trade day is done. After that first trade, that's it. I don't ever double dip or anything like that. It's one trade a day for me, especially if it's like, yeah, it's one trade a day for me either way. But like, this is just ugly week. Oh, there's my EMA. Why wasn't it working before? What the hell was going on with that? Yeah, like if I entered here and I seen it do all that, I would have moved my stop, or when it did that and I seen that, I probably would have moved my stop to like right here. Pretty much where I entered, so it would have been a break-even trade. So what was that, like no losses? If I would have, because the only other trade would have been Monday, and I think I forget if I would have won that or not. Let's check. Monday, I would have looked at this. I would have entered on there. I've seen it. I would have moved my stop and got hit with the EMA if I decided EMA, which is a good chance I would have right there at some point in this move from here, entry here. But because that's the close past the EMA. I don't care about wicks. But either way, I would have moved my stop or EMA. So it would have been a small win, but close to break even, really. No, it would have been a small win. It would have been like somewhere right here. So between that and the break even trade on Thursday, I would have taken if I stuck to my trading strategy. And then the loss on Friday. So Monday and Friday would have canceled each other out. And then the break even trade is a break even trade. So this week we would have ended flat if I followed my trading strategy. Yeah, it's not much to watch here. I might take like a screenshot at the end of the day of how the market ended up playing out. I might do that, but or at least 12 o'clock and take a screenshot because that's what matters to me. But again, that's about it for me. We don't do any trades after that first trade. So learned a lot this week. We'll be hitting the stock market hard next week. Hopefully it'll have better price action. If not, it is what it is. You know, we have faith in the trading strategy. We know when to hold them. We know when to throw them. So let's get it.